Thanks, Nat. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming down and attending here today. As Nat said, I'm Assistant Commissioner Tess Walsh. I lead the Victoria Police Counter-Terrorism Command, and I'm joined today by my Australian Federal Police colleague, Assistant Commissioner Counter-Terrorism and Special Investigations Command, Stephen Nutt. Today we'll provide several updates on the joint Victorian counter-terrorism team investigation into the Adass Israel synagogue arson attack. What we've established is that a blue VW Golf sedan was stolen from the driveway of a property in Croydon on the 2nd of November last year. Following that, we established the blue VW Golf was then used in a number of serious and violent crimes, including a shooting in Bundoora, as well as aggravated burglaries and petrol drive-offs in suburbs right across Melbourne, including Brunswick, Cranbourne North, Caulfield South and Hampton. This car was then seized by police in December last year from a residential street in Melbourne, and further inquiries revealed it was fitted with cloned plates. Police believe this car was used as what I would describe as a communal crime car and has been driven to a number of locations committing serious offences. It's possible the car was used by several different people and groups to commit these crimes over the November and December last year period. This morning, detectives from the Arson and Explosives Squad have arrested 2 people in Pakenham in relation to the Lux nightclub fire on Chapel Street in November last year. A 22 and 23-year-old men, both from Pakenham, are being interviewed by police and I believe will be shortly fronted before court. We know the blue VW Golf sedan was used during the incident and the same vehicle subsequently used during the synagogue arson. It's important to note that there's nothing at this time to indicate the 2 men we've arrested today were directly involved in the synagogue fire. However, we're hoping the arrests today will potentially provide some avenues of inquiry for our JCTT investigations. Equally important for the community to understand equally important for the community to understand is the Lux nightclub arson is not being investigated as a politically motivated crime. It is being managed by the Crime Command. This brings me to the arson attack at the synagogue in Glenora Avenue, Ripponlea, on the 6th of December 2024. Since that time, police have been investigating this incident and have been extremely active, with investigators pursuing many lines of inquiry. Over the past 6 months, investigators have painstakingly collected CCTV from more than 1,400 locations to identify and track the actions of the alleged offenders. Today, for the first time, we'll be releasing some of that footage. The footage we're releasing shows the blue VW Golf sedan driving past the synagogue multiple times before parking outside the main entrance on the 6th of December. 3 individuals dressed in hoodies and masks getting out of the vehicle and using an axe to damage the entrance of the synagogue. At least 2 individuals pouring the contents of jerry cans in the doorway of the synagogue. Individuals making multiple trips to the Golf to get more jerry cans, which were poured inside the synagogue before the liquid was ignited. And 1 offender wearing a distinctive white face mask and filming the arson on his mobile phone. If you know anything about this crime, we want to hear from you. If you know anything about the blue VW Golf sedan, we want you to tell us what you know. If you know the identity of the people depicted in the footage, or you're one of the people in the footage, we'd like you to contact us. We're also asking the public for any dashcam footage of between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. on the 6th of December that captures the blue VW Golf sedan. In particular, we're requesting footage travelling to the city from the northern suburbs using CityLink before 3:30 a.m. that morning, or travelling outbound on the Westgate or Western Ring Road after 4:30 a.m. We're also seeking information about the purchase of 5 red 20-litre fuel jerry cans from a Bunnings warehouse store and the purchase of 100 litres of petrol just before the 6th of December. Police believe this is something that would have stood out to people and quite unusual for any witnesses, and we're keen to speak to anybody who has further information about this. I want to reassure Victorians, particularly those in the Jewish community, we will remain fully committed to finding those responsible for this act, this crime, and holding those offenders to account. This was a deliberate act which left people across the Victorian community feeling shocked, saddened, and rightly concerned. I understand it can be difficult when these matters take time to investigate, but make no mistake, this investigation remains a key priority for both Victoria Police and the Australian Federal Police, and we were dedicated to bringing it to a successful conclusion as soon as possible. I'll now hand over to Assistant Commissioner Stephen Nutt from the AFP.
Thank you, AC Walsh. Good afternoon, everyone. As introduced, I'm Stephen Nutt, the Assistant Commissioner for Counter-Terrorism and Special Investigations in the AFP. Today I'll provide some updates on the Victorian Joint Counter-Terrorism Team investigation into the Adass Israel synagogue attack. Today the JCTT will also release, as already mentioned, the CCTV footage showing some critical moments of the crime. This investigation remains a terrorism investigation. We will continue to investigate it as a politically motivated attack on the Jewish community. This arson was an anti-Semitic crime. To set alight a synagogue is to strike at the heart of the Jewish community. But if the purpose of this arson was to weaken the resolve of the Jewish community, my observation is it hasn't worked. In fact, what I've witnessed in the last few months is the opposite. I see a resilient Jewish community who stare down hatred and stand up for their values and beliefs. And on the CCTV footage we're releasing today, you will see the opposite. Cowards who cover their faces, who carry out an attack on a place of worship. Operation Hillfield is the name of the investigation. It's complex and lengthy, as AC Walsh has already described. There will be questions we will not be able to answer today, so we can protect the evidence we have. I know many Australians want answers, and some of these will come out, but our priority at this stage is firmly focused on bringing these individuals before the court. What we can say is that we believe the individuals are responsible for the synagogue arson attack are also involved in other serious criminal activity in Victoria. As we've stated, the blue VW Golf sedan has been used in the Adass synagogue arson attack, the Lux nightclub arson in South Yarra in November 2024, and the shooting and arson at Bundoora on the same night as the synagogue arson attack on the 6th of December 2024. But again, I want to be very clear. We do not believe the shooting and the nightclub arson are politically motivated. Those crimes are not under the investigation by the Joint Counter-Terrorism Team. They are investigated by Victoria Police. So to be clear, only the synagogue arson is being investigated as a politically motivated crime. Based on our information, we believe some of the individuals involved are extremely violent. The blue VW Golf sedan was used to drive to all 3 locations to commit the 3 crimes that I've mentioned, and AC Walsh has mentioned others. The Golf was recovered by police in December last year at a residential street in Melbourne, Victoria. Investigators have painstakingly identified and analysed CCTV footage collected from more than 1,400 locations to identify and track the actions of the offenders. What this highlights is that we have a zero tolerance on anti-Semitism, and we will use all of our resources and capabilities to bring the offenders to the court. Today, we'll be releasing some of that footage for the first time. The public is asked to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000 or the National Security Hotline on 1800 123 400 if they recognise or have knowledge of the individuals in the images, or know anyone who has had access to the stolen car, the VW Golf, around those dates, or those dates of those offences. For the offenders out there, I remind you that the penalty for terrorism is life imprisonment. It's just a matter of time before police knock on your door. It is in your interests to come forward now. To the family and friends of these offenders, you know or suspect what they have done. They do not deserve your protection for what they have done to our community. Also, you will know if you have used that VW Blue Golf. You may now be forensically linked to a terrorism investigation. Please come forward now, explain what you know. This is not a normal crime, and this is why it is being investigated by the Joint Counter-Terrorism Team with the full force and capability of the Victoria Police, the Australian Federal Police and ASIO. Do not stay silent, come forward. The JCTT is leaving no stone unturned in this investigation, and I really want to thank the Jewish community for their assistance and their patience. We also thank the Victorian community for their assistance through the provision of the CCTV and information to the investigation to date. Thank you. Now open up for questions. We've already outlined that we had a painstaking collection of CCTV, and we want to have a complete picture and to give an update to the community. Again, we wanted to have an extensive collection of the evidence available and also track where the vehicle and therefore the offenders went across Melbourne.
With regards to the synagogue fire, do police believe it was commissioned, and if so, do you think it was coming from overseas?
We're not going to make any comment on that at this time. Part of the ongoing investigation. The focus of today is obviously the release of the CCTV footage and the seek of information from the public.
So at this stage, though, have you ruled out a hostile foreign actor or an extremist group commissioning the synagogue attack?
Thank you. What I can say is that we have no evidence of a state actor involvement or terrorist organisation being involved in this offence.
How many persons of interest do you have?
We have a new... Sorry, Tess. We have a number of persons of interest. We've obviously got the 3 that have carried out the actual attack. As AC Walsh, there are other individuals in supporting those 3 through the acquisition of petrol and jerry cans. So there's a broad number of individuals.
Is there a possibility that the 2 people that were arrested from Pakenham may potentially, while being directly linked to the synagogue fire, that they could know who they are?
There's every chance they could know who they are. The use of the car by a group of we've called it a communal crime car. Clearly, over the period of time across when it was stolen late November and it was stolen early November through to when it was recovered in December. It's been used by a range of different groups and individuals, so in various different crimes. So what we're saying is that there could be links. At the moment, the Lux nightclub, the 2 arrested for the Lux nightclub, there's no evidence to suggest that they're responsible for the synagogue fire.
But can I just add on there, as I mentioned in my opening statement, however, those individuals who've used that car could be forensically linked to a terrorist organisation. So it's in their best interest to come forward with what they know about that vehicle and others who've used that vehicle.
So are police linking the synagogue and the Lux nightclub fires together, or are they treating the car as a common theme?
So the car is the common theme. The JCTT, under the Counter-Terrorism Command and AFP, are investigating the synagogue fire. The Lux nightclub fire is being investigated and has been resolved today with some arrests by our crime command and members of the arson and explosives squad. So early days we had We were very open about the possibility that they may well be together, they may well be investigated together, but the links were exclusive to the car at this point in time.
Have you so far been able to question those two individuals associated with the Lux nightclub about any links to what happened with their cars?
So they were interviewed today and given there before the court. We probably won't make any further comment on that.
Were they cooperating, the police?
I'm not sure of that, the outcome of the interviews, so at the moment.
Is the use of the communal crime car, is this a common thing, given that these are particularly serious incidents?
It's fairly new. I've been in crime for many years, and this sort of usage of a vehicle is relatively new, but not unknown.
Was the Melbourne address of any assistance? Was the Melbourne address of any assistance to you?
No.
On the use of the car, is it understood that the person who might have been directing its use could be linked to all of these particular crimes, or is it the car merely passed from one route to another? Can you help us understand how that happens?
I can add, as I outlined earlier, there is a number of people as part of the investigation who have different roles. Obviously, the person who managed the car is a person of interest in the investigation, but that doesn't necessarily translate that they're involved directly into the arson attack. Again, the call out, if you use the car, it could be forensically linked to a terrorism investigation, you need to come forward and explain what you know.
So is the people in the CCTV in the Lux nightclub and the CCTV in the synagogue fire, are there any similarities? Is there a potential that it could be the same individuals in the CCTV for Lux nightclub and for the synagogue fire?
At the moment, we have them as separate individuals, separate, and they've been investigated separately. If we were to make a link, then we would have brought them together and investigated them together.
So from all the vision you've been able to obtain from the synagogue fire, have you been able to narrow down the ages potentially?
I guess it's we can all view it. It's difficult to put an age or any other descriptor on them. People will make their own assumptions. They are carrying 20-litre fuel cans with relative ease, so that I guess in and of itself would lend itself to perhaps a younger person, but we just don't know. That's we're just speculating.
So from the vision, what differentiates, I guess, all of the attacks from the Lux nightclub to the synagogue attack? What makes you think that they're not connected? Is there something that they look like, they're different?
Well, from the vision, we can see that there's no crossover between the Lux nightclub and also the synagogue arson attack. The only link at this particular juncture on the investigation is the vehicle. We obviously keep an open mind, and we're working closely, as AC Walsh has already said, with the arson investigation squad for any link, but at this stage the only link is the vehicle.
That person of interest, that there's same car, different individuals, is there then a chance, considering it appears that this vehicle is used by multiple individuals, that there's maybe a common theme in terms of organisation or group?
I guess we're open to that. We're open to that, yeah.
That person of interest who may be managing the car, are they linked to organised crime in Victoria?
What we can say is that those who use the car are criminal associates,
Does the man who manages
including the man.
organised crime?
We're saying that they're criminal associates.
Is there a chance that given if this was a communal crime car, that there could be a lot of people that have used this vehicle, if they are all working for this for the same group?
Given the range of offences and the volume of offences, certainly leading up to Lux nightclub, 4 or 5 petrol thefts and aggravated burglaries. This car's been on high rotation for a range of serious crimes, including the Bundoora one, not long prior to the attack.
So are we not concerned at this stage that extremists are starting to outsource jobs like this to organised criminals?
I can say that from a national security perspective, the AFP's been on record, the Commissioner of the AFP's on record around crime as a service. This is something that we're always mindful of. I wouldn't go as far as that in this investigation. This is very much an open line of inquiry, and again, the focus is on the individuals who are carrying out the attack.
You say that you know who the person who managed that communal car is. Is that a person that's known to you now?
We certainly know of one of the original users of the car, and I guess that's what we're proposing is that he potentially is somebody that has managed the use of the car.
Is he still in Victoria?
Yeah.
At this stage, we won't comment on that aspect of the investigation. Obviously, we're focusing today on the release of the footage and the call from assistance.
You'd like to speak to this person, you haven't spoken to him, you'd like to speak to them, you haven't spoken to this person yet. Is that right?
So clearly that's getting really close to the investigation, which is incredibly active, and we don't want to speak about individual persons of interest in the investigation.
So at this stage, have police ruled out involvement from neo-Nazis or other extremist groups in the synagogue fire?
There's no indication of that motivation.
So the government is for a terrorism investigation.
As I said in my statement, yes, this is remaining as a terrorism investigation, and we're treating it as politically motivated, yes.
In the days after the attack, the Premier said that this...
You mentioned that you know the person who was potentially starting out as the original user of the car. Does that appear that you are looking at who may be pulling the strings at the top?
Of course, we're looking at all aspects of the investigations, all those involved, and I've already mentioned that there's a number of individuals that are involved in assisting the 3 persons that carried out the attack, so we're keeping an open mind on that aspect of the investigation. And I know you had a question.
Back to what the Premier said in the days after this attack, she said it had been confirmed as a terrorist attack. Is that how you would describe it today, given everything you've said, including that there was no suggestion that extremist groups were behind this?
What I said is that we are treating it as a terrorism investigation, and we're continuing to investigate as politically motivated violence. At this stage, we have not determined that this is a terrorist act. That remains a key aspect of the investigation.
Just with regards to the Lux nightclub fire specifically here, at this stage, do you believe that that's related to a series of fires of properties owned by the Comanchero bikie gang, of which there have been a few in Melbourne in the last 12 months?
I guess that's going to be an avenue of inquiry. There's no secret Victoria have experienced a significant range of arson attacks over particularly the last probably 18 months, and that would be one of the lines of inquiry. What I can say in terms of those arson attacks is that they're being investigated separate to this investigation. They're being investigated by the Crime Command, and a balance between the Arson and Explosives Squad and also Task Force Luna.
I realise you can't say much about the manager because you don't want to get too close to the investigation, so you can't reveal much about the manager of the car. But if you've got that information, who then potentially provide information about the suspects, why then have you released the CCTV on top of that?
We're not going to go into those aspects of the investigation strategies. Again, it was a key point of time in the investigation to give an update of where we're at, but also use the opportunity with the CCTV footage to seek assistance from the public in that regard.
Does it appear unusual though that you've got a common theme of a car, but then you've got crimes that appear to be motivated in all sorts of different ways? You've got petrol drive-offs, and then you've got one that you're treating as a terrorist attack, and then your Lux nightclub that is just being investigated by Victoria Police. Is that unusual to have so many different lines of inquiry, yet one common theme?
Oh, most certainly. I mean, the usage of the car is in criminal enterprise is quite significant. It's not unheard of, as I said, but it's quite nuanced in this investigation because they are different types of crime, from petrol theft through to these violent arson attacks.
And I just want to clarify there, we said we're investigating as terrorism, but we have not determined that it's a terrorist attack. You use that term. I just wanted to clarify that.
What can you tell us about the drive-by Bundoora?
So several hours prior to the synagogue attack, the car was sighted at an address in Bundoora whereby a number of shots were fired towards the house, and a vehicle in the driveway at Bundoora was set on fire shortly after the car left the scene, and then turned up several hours later at the synagogue.
Given that happened on the same night, does it appear that they're the same individuals that could be involved in the Bundoora incident?
It's possible, but we just need to keep an open mind about the number of people that have been through that car.
You mentioned at the synagogue one of the suspects took a video recording of what happened. Have you seen that footage? Have you seen evidence that has been distributed online? And can you speculate perhaps or maybe entertain a reason or motive why somebody would record that?
If I did that, it would be purely speculation, of course. You can see that the person is videoing the attack. We probably don't want to make any more comment other than it is a methodology, and we don't want to go into that in relation to this particular occurrence.
What led police to seizing the vehicle in Melbourne in December last year? Was it a tip-off or?
Go on.
Yeah, obviously we identified it as part of our investigation, so the seizure is part of the investigation.
Is there a chance that even if you find who is the common theme or the, I guess, kingpin, so to speak, of the car, that there's obviously a lot more people out there who have used that car who are, and this is going to be a long investigation.
It has been a long investigation, and we're in it for as long as it takes. We do know that there's scalable offending here, and you can hear our plea to the people that might have been in the car, or might know people that have been in the car, or might have know people who have had any involvement with the car, to contact us and present your case.
But is there the real possibility, though, because it has been used by so many people, in the case of, in this instance with Lux nightclub, that a lot of people who have been in the car would be aware of other people who have used the car?
It's possible, yes. Yeah, we're really open-minded about that, yes.
Tony, just before you said there was no evidence of state actor or terrorist involvement in the synagogue the synagogue bombing. Is it the same for the Lux nightclub fire? You don't believe there's involvement there?
Again, the only connection we've seen between the two is the use of the vehicle. However, the Lux nightclub is being investigated by Victoria Police, so I'll actually defer to Victoria Police on that one.
What feedback have you received from the DUS community about how long this investigation has taken in the nature of it?
We've met with them on a number of occasions, and I'll refer back to AC Nut in terms of the formalised Operation Avalite. Look, I acknowledge the frustration. We all, everybody wishes these investigations took more time, but you can see the way the investigation has had to be managed. This is not a single investigation into a single occurrence. The use of the cars led us to multiple different crimes, and they all take time to investigate and manage properly. So the timing of our operation, the timing of today has been an important part of that. I can say we can acknowledge the Jewish community's patience in terms of having a result. What I can say to the Victorian community, the Australian community and the Jewish community is that we remain really determined and pretty positive about getting a successful resolution to this crime, and it's our intention to hold the offenders to account.
Can I just circle back? So you haven't seen the footage that one of the suspects believe recorded at the synagogue?
We weren't making comment on that, but we do note that that's what appears to occur on the footage we've released today. I just will actually take the opportunity, based on your question around the Jewish community engagement, on the 9th of December, shortly after the Adass Israel Synagogue arson, we established Special Operation Avalite. Special Operation Avalite is focusing on anti-Semitism in Australia. We've been conducting that operation jointly with ASIO, working very closely with our state and territory partners as well. We've charged 7 people under that operation. We have 25 ongoing operations as well. It's of benefit to the community, and we've been engaging with the Jewish community on this. We are looking at those prolific anti-Semites, those who unfairly and unlawfully target the Jewish community in Australia, and we encourage the public, where they see anti-Semitism in this form, contact the National Security Hotline or contact the AFP and we'll investigate.
So to clarify, could either of these fire bombings have been related to the ongoing tobacco wars in Victoria or potentially directed by Kaz Hamad?
We're not making any comments on any individuals at this stage. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.